What's up, Pewter peeps, and welcome into the all-new Pewtercast, your favorite spot for Bucs news, analysis, takes hot and otherwise, and of course, the official Bucs podcast of the Fan-Sided Network. That is Ren. Hello. I am Steve Carney. It is great to have you here today on YouTube as we are live streaming this here on this Friday. Friday episode of the Pewtercast this week. And of course, anybody who is listening to the audio version of this on any place you get your favorite podcast, we want to thank you for letting us tag along. Ren, how has your week been?
It's been good. It's been fine. You know, had the 1 year checkup on the new air handler. Everything's fine. Still working, you know, optimal.
Yes. AC, very important, especially now.
Yes, it's all tuned and it's been doing great. Apparently, that's what they tell us. So that's nice. Looking into solar paneling, doing that. You know,
those are all good things, especially being here in Florida to help keep your energy costs down and keep your electric costs down. And of course, solar guys, solar is so smart in this city and in this area. Because we get so much sun throughout the year, just makes sense to be able to use it. Now, I live in a condo, so if I was to try and put solar, I would have to solarize the entire building, and let me tell you, that ain't happening. So for me, this week has been all about trying to fix things. My wife's car, and
our car blew up too.
Yeah,
what happened? What was wrong with yours?
Well, my wife drives a Nissan, and it's a great car, but it's close to 10 years old now. And so about a year ago, in fact, almost exactly a year ago, she had one of the ignition coils go on it. So it was running just absolutely awful as she's trying to come back from, I don't know, Target or Publix, someplace, and having it go out on her on Gandy Boulevard where she can only go like 30 miles an hour. And it sounds like she's driving a steam locomotive because it's so loud. So one of them went about a year ago, and I guess it was yesterday. The second one went out of the 4 ignition coils. So I took it to my local mechanic and told him that he just needed to replace all of them, the rest of them, the other 3 that were in there. And so thank you to Steve Martucci and everybody at Michelle's Ultimate Auto Care here in St. Petersburg, who have done wonders for me over the last 12 months with my wife's car. So thank you. He is not a sponsor of the show, but hopefully we can get some of these local businesses to come on board here very soon.
My car story won't be nearly as long. The water pump blew. Took out a couple of belts with it.
Well,
we have fun. A guy that comes to the house. Like he's like one of those dudes like 120 pounds and, looks like, his face looks like a map of like the Old West trail, and he wears Wrangler jeans and he smokes and he works out of his minivan and it's really cheap and he fixes it and it's great and it takes him a day. But you got to get to him. Like he's like everyone. I shouldn't say everyone, but like he's always so busy, and he's just a dude that pulls up in his minivan. But he can fix absolutely anything. He goes, "Yep, water pump blew." He's like, "I got to go to the store. I'll be back." Comes back, puts everything together, drives around, makes sure it's fine. He goes, "Okay," and then his prices are just ridiculous. So it's like, "Okay, that'll be see parts for $200. So how about $300, and he worked like 8 hours on it.
That's crazy.
Thanks, Ken. See you later.
Yes. Steve and the folks at Michelle's, I brought it in 9:15 yesterday morning. And they were like, "No, we might be able to get it to it today. It probably will be tomorrow." And it's like, okay, my wife is working it from home, so it's not a big deal. And by noon, they had my car in and up, and they were like, and they told me, "Yep, it's exactly what we thought it was." And by 4:15, it was ready to go. They had gotten everything taken care of it, and his prices also. I mean, for something that was probably, I don't know, $2,000, $2,500 at a dealership, I got for under $700.
There you go.
I mean, you can't beat that. Can't
Are you
beat that
trying to
with a
one
stick.
up my old man Ken?
No,
With
no.
with your
Old man Ken coming to your house. That's impressive.
yeah, yeah.
That is very impressive. Almost
Working out of the Honda Odyssey.
that to keep one of those things going is very impressive as well.
Right,
Almost as
exactly.
impressive. It's almost as impressive, Ren, as
Mm.
your thorough beating of me when it came to our mock drafts from last week.
Yeah, yeah. Last show. Oh, look at the ticker. Ren dominates draft poll.
He did.
He did.
It wasn't even close. And then I mean, I expect that because you are
I'm well known in the Bucs community, Bucs
you're
Twitter.
dialed in. You're dialed in. That's all they know. They know that you are dialed in on what Jason Licht wants to do.
Excuses start early.
No,
Okay.
no excuses. I got thoroughly dominated. It says it on the crawl.
It's got to be true. It's on the crawl.
Let's face it. The one piece that I probably got right is the Miners pick.
Yeah.
From Wisconsin Whitewater. I think that and I just thought it was hilarious that somebody put up the video of Miners doing his bench press at his pro day with a broken hand.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
someone tagged us in it
and said, "Look at this guy." And I said, "Oh, one of us had that guy." And you responded rightfully by saying, "And one of us dominated the other."
And I got the better center anyway. So, yeah, I wouldn't mind having them both, like Dickerson and Miners, like 1-2.
Yeah, I mean,
round two.
Yeah, I think that would be great. I look at Miners as a guy that you can play center and play guard if need be.
Same with Dickerson.
Yeah, I mean, Dickerson's that way as well. Alabama guys, though, man. Alabama, there's a lot of expectations on guys from Alabama.
Yeah, a lot of people think that players that come out of Alabama are already at their peak. Like they don't develop more.
Yeah, there's no ceiling. There's the ceiling.
They're at their ceiling. Yeah, at Alabama because they're like offensive and defensively, they're coached by NFL coaches or were NFL coaches, and then they move on and get more NFL coaching jobs. And then they have guys on their staff that are like, oh yeah, he's the offense quality coach, and well, really, what's his name? Oh yeah, he's been the Tennessee Titans head coach the past 8 years. It's become this spot when you're an NFL coach, you don't have a job, you go to Alabama and you hang out for a couple years, and you go back and then you get a job, a high paying, like a defensive coordinator, offensive coordinator,
Yeah, or you become a head coach at Ole Miss like Steve Sarkisian.
Yeah. So, yeah, they do well. But I think Dickerson. I don't think Dickerson really falls into that mold, the Alabama's offensive line hasn't really fallen into that mold. It used to be like their DBs, but I think they've gotten away from that. Right now, it just kind of seems to be their defensive line.
Yeah,
are the guys that are like, oh man, this guy's a top 5 pick, and he gets picked top 5, and it's not that they're not good. They just don't come in and, have, these careers, at least right off the bat, 2-3 years where they're talked about making Pro Bowls and things like that. Yeah.
So if you missed the draft last week, Ren took Phillips out of Miami, Dickerson, Gainwell, Mills, Scott, Mills, the North Carolina Central cornerback.
Overdrafted, apparently.
Overdrafted. Scott, Wells, and a kicker, and got 2 draft picks in 2022, a second and a third. I went with Cox, Miners, Shelvin, Daniel, Tony, Milne, Coleman, the best name in the draft in Puka Williams out of Kansas, and then a second, a third, and a 5th pick in 2022. And yet, with 37,000 votes, you dominated me 68% to 32%.
I think the top of my draft is what won it. People knew who those people were, and I think even though Cox wasn't, for your first pick to be a backup to Levante, not to see the field for 2 years, is kind of even though he fits the mold of the linebackers, I think that's what hurt you most. Two things: name recognition with my draft, and sort of taking a linebacker as your first pick, an off-ball linebacker as your first pick.
It was,
and plus people just like me better. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm a nicer guy.
Yes,
my mechanics better.
You're nicer. Your mechanics are better. You're smarter. You're more handsome.
More good looking.
Yes.
What's that? Happy Gilmore. Okay, as long as you got that straight.
That's right. That's right.
Chubbs.
So
Chubbs.
I took his hand. I took his head. So a 68% tilt towards Ren from our drafts. We've got the draft coming up now in less than 2 weeks. The 29th is night number 1. We'll
be out there with the fans.
Big Storm Brewing for Joe Bucs fans party. I will be coming straight over from the Rays game that afternoon. So I've got a Rays game at 1:10, and I will be hauling ass to Big Storm afterwards.
Oh, you'll make
well, no, I got to haul ass over there because I want to have a beer or two before we go live. Come on, man.
True.
We want to have some fun.
Got to grease the wheels.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and we're gonna be doing a giveaway. I forgot. Me find this. Is this the one? That's the one.
That's it. Yeah.
If you're watching YouTube, and if you're not, what it is, a poster of the second Rob Gronkowski touchdown. It's a giveaway. So for $10, we're gonna buy you a beer, and you also get a ticket, and the ticket goes into the bucket, which is a raffle for this X's and O's poster of it says like when it happened, what quarter it happened, what down it was, and then also has the quoted
the television
text.
play-by-play.
Yes, down at the bottom, and it's real sharp, man. The guy who won the first one, Wash, he DM'd me and sent a picture out. He got his framed, and it's already hanging up on his wall. So
nice.
We'll be doing that and some other things. I talked to somebody DM me yesterday. Oh no.
Helps if
someone DM'd me yesterday about wanting his son's like going to USF, and he created these t-shirts that are Buccaneer related t-shirts, and he's like, can you talk about them on your pod? And I didn't tell him no. What I said was, hey, come out to Joe Bucs fan, Big Storm Brew, and we'll be out there and we'll put them on your table, and if you want to sell some t-shirts while we're out there, whatever you can sell, you can sell. And
and we take an affordable cut.
Yes, affordable cut. Only 70%. We're like podcast network.
It's how it works. But yeah, come out on April 29th to Big Storm Brewing. Ren and I will be out there along with the folks at Joe Bucs Fan for their night 1 draft party. And we'll see if the Bucs actually draft a player as they pick 32nd. So we may be all liquored up as the Bucs make a trade down and out of the first round, and then we can really get angry. So we'll figure that all out in due time. But this week, we've got some big news involving the roster and issues that may come up with it, the salary cap. We will get to that here in just a moment on the PeterCast. This episode of the PeterCast is brought to you in part by Danette May and Mindful Health LLC, featuring Danette May's top superfood product from her Earth Echo food lines, Cacao Bliss. You're a chocolate guy, right, Ren? I love chocolate.
Who's not a chocolate person?
Yeah, and let me tell you, there's nothing that feels better than being able to enjoy some rich, smooth, creamy chocolate, knowing that you're doing something good for your body. As Danette May and Mindful Health LLC and Earth Echo Foods, they start with 100% organic cacao beans that are naturally kissed by the sun. Kissed. And they maintains their miraculous health benefits.
Don't do that next time.
Yes, I'm sorry. My Bill Raftery shows up with a kiss. And then they take those 100% organic cacao beans and they blend them with great stuff like turmeric, MCT oil, coconut, Himalayan sea salt, cinnamon, and black pepper. It's got the perfect blend to make you feel the best you ever have. And the results, well, you can fall in love with a truly decadent, healthy, guilt-free chocolate. It removes your cravings. It helps facilitate weight loss, boosts energy, and reduces your inflammation with one simple drink. Not only that, it's paleo gluten-free, keto, vegan, and vegetarian friendly as well. And for the last 8 years, they've been a leader in the superfoods market. They're proud to have served millions of customers worldwide, and you can get a little bit of a discount here from us at the PeterCast. 15% off. You go to earthechofoods.com/Minute Media. Use the code Minute and get 15% off on your order. Again, earthechofoods.com/Minute Media and use the code Minute to get 15% off on.
I can't wait for mine.
Cacao Bliss. I'm a big chocolate guy, and I like the fact
it's like
that
healthy chocolate.
Healthy chocolate with a little bit of turmeric and a little bit of pepper to help kind of smooth weight loss. I could really use.
Hey man, cayenne and chocolate is a nice,
delicious.
It's a really good flavor combo that a lot of people don't know about.
Absolutely. So again, earthechofoods.com/Minute Media. Use the promo code Minute, people. Save 15%. So Ren, we've got it seems like every week someone else either wants to come back to the Buccaneers or someone else wants to come to the Buccaneers. And we've got 3 more signings this week to help round out the roster, if you know what I mean. And 2 of these guys are guys.
I don't know what you mean. Would you like to explain further?
They're rounding out the roster, make it nice and full.
Okay. I thought maybe that was an innuendo. I was gonna catch you.
No, I wouldn't. No, I wish
people could yell at you at Twitter.
Well, I mean, they're going to yell at me.
Hear what Carney said on the PeterCast.
They say it anyway, so it doesn't matter. But I'm kind of surprised with one of these because I thought
which one?
That's McClendon. To be honest, I thought McClendon was going to retire.
Yeah, he will be the oldest player to take a defensive snap in the NFL for the 2nd year in a row. He won his ring. He could have said it was over. Off. But the Bucs, needed depth at the interior defensive line, but they also need to get younger. So they got a part of that.
Yeah,
with McClendon.
They certainly did. His cap number just under $1 million, $987,000 for 2021.
Right.
And then they go out and bring back Ross Cockrell as well. His deal. Well, his cap number is also just under $1 million at $990,000. And then this is the one that I think has surprised a lot of people because they bring back Leonard Fournette.
Right.
And all of a sudden, here comes Gio Bernard to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, apparently on the advice of James White, which I think is very interesting.
Well, I don't want to say he's on the vice of James White, but
Gio
and Bernard, reached out to White, who apparently they've known each other since high school. They both went to, St. Mary's Aquinas? I know it's Aquinas down there in Miami. It's a powerhouse high school
St.
football.
Thomas Aquinas.
St. Thomas, thank you. Aquinas. Yeah, there is no St.
Mary Aquinas.
St. Mary.
St. Mary Aquinas is the girls' school for St. Thomas Aquinas.
I don't think there is a St. Mary. So anyway, but they've been a powerhouse down in Miami, and they've cranked out a lot of NFL talent down there. They're a high school down there. So he asked James White about Tom Brady, and of course James White had all these glowing reviews. So I don't think it was exactly based off what like, hey James, should I go to the Bucs? It was more like, no. What am I getting myself into? If I go
the Bucs are saying they're interested. James White's like, go! They're gonna win another Super Bowl.
Yeah, and a lot of fans, and rightfully so, were talking about James White earlier this year. I think and we talked about Bernard back when it was kind of surfacing that he could be a guy. I think it was right after James White re-signed with the Patriots. Bucs fans are looking for a third down back with more reliable hands than Leonard Fournette or Ronald Jones. Obviously, okay, no problem. But I think Gio Bernard is better because he can still run the ball between the tackles. With James White, they didn't give him the ball a lot last year, and they really didn't throw a lot to him last year. Because Cam Newton's quarterback and not Tom Brady. So it was really kind of hard to judge what James White had left. But, looking at Bernard and looking at his numbers and his rushing numbers and his receiving numbers, and then, I didn't know this guy from a hole in the ground. I knew who he was.
Mm-hmm.
But listening to his press conference, I really like him. I really like him. I just think he's a genuine dude. Of course, he says all the right things, but when it comes out of his mouth, you believe it. It's not just sort of,
It's not just window dressing.
Yeah.
And the thing I like about Gio Bernard is the fact that he's got that much tread left on his tires. I mean, this is a guy that had some really good years in Cincinnati, and then they went out and got Joe Mixon, and they've made Mixon the primary ball carrier the last 3-4 years. And now you're looking at a guy that still has some tread on his tires. I think that's a big plus, because now I think he can be more than just a third down back if need be. I mean, you don't expect him to be, because you have Ronald Jones coming. You have Ronald Jones and you have Leonard Fournette coming back for one more year. You're looking for a guy that is going to be able to catch the ball out of the backfield, but this is a guy that can also run between the tackles if need be, and does provide that sort of. He can be the bell cow back because he's proven he can be. He even did it last year when Joe Mixon got hurt.
Yeah, exactly, and that's why he's there. If Fournette gets hurt, or he turned into a big baby again, and they bench him for a little while, and then, Ronald Jones hasn't been injury free for his entire career as a Buc. So it's just having. I mean, your third running back can, you're not going to get this huge drop off at your third running back spot. You don't have to change your game plan. You can still run if you want to run power, say you're playing the Jets, and okay, we're not, but the game plan is okay, the best way for us to win this game is to control the clock with a power running game. And if Fournette and Jones are out, you can still do it with Bernard, and it's proven, and what you got. So excellent signing. I think it's actually a better signing than James White would have been, because of all the question marks, sort of, of running the ball between the tackle with James White, and how much he, like you said about Gio, how much tread left on the tires for White, which is unfair because it's not like he had a drop off. They just didn't give him the ball.
Yeah.
But it's a proven commodity, and it's a great pickup. And finally the Bucs went out and got somebody that didn't have the red rouge. That's a little redundant. What do they call it? What is that flag called? Was it the rouge or something? I know it means we're going into battle, but there was a name for it when they first changed the uniform. Cardi gave me a single eyebrow, I don't know what you're talking about. Maybe the Red Rouge flag is what I'm calling it, and I don't care. That's what it is.
Go for it.
Thank you. The Bucs finally brought somebody in that didn't have the RR on their helmet last year.
There you go. And the other thing is, I think that most people, when they think of Patriots running backs, when you think of James White, the first name that always came to me was Dion Lewis. The guy that was able to do it there, but wasn't able to do it anywhere else. And so
went to Tennessee, and
stung up the joint.
But again, Tennessee is like when Adam Humphries left the Buccaneers and he had the choice, he had agreed to go to Tennessee. The New England came after him and gave him, offered him more money, and he was like, "No, I'm going to go to Tennessee." But they just don't throw the ball to Humphries. It's not like he forgot how to get open or forgot how to catch the ball, and he was really good at contested catches, across the middle, coming out of the slot, but they just didn't use him. So I don't know if, kind of like Dion Lewis, is there, I don't want to bang on D.S. Lewis and say he was a total failure, but again, then why did Tennessee sign him? Why did Tennessee sign either of those two guys? They weren't going to use him.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're going to get Bernard for even less than what White got from New England. I mean, White's number is $1.2 million there, and Bernard's under $1 million $1 million. And you might be getting the better of the deal, but that still leaves the Bucs in kind of a lurch, Ren, because we know that, you got to have money to sign your draft picks. You got to have money to, in just in case, like a rainy day fund, someone's gone down. What do we do now? You don't want to be stuck up against the glass ceiling with nowhere to go.
The Bucs usually are right around $3 million they use for injuries during the season.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they need
right
that
now.
money.
Yeah. Right now, the team is just a shade over $1 million under the cap with everybody signed.
Mm-hmm.
You're still probably going to need at least another 7, maybe up to as much as $8 million in cap space that you're going to need to generate in order to make sure that you get through the 2021 season in one piece.
Yeah.
And that's where, and this is where we come to the big question of the day.
Yes.
That is where's
it going to come from?
Are the moves going to be for it?
Well, the two obvious ones are obviously restructuring Jensen, or restructuring, not really restructuring, but just asking Cam Brate to take a cut, or outright releasing Cam Brate. So where are you? Which one do you think of those two, or do you have another one? Of course, you're allowed to bring that up as well.
Yeah.
But of those two, which one do you think the Bucs do, and which one would you rather see?
Right now, and to be honest, I don't have another idea, because you look at the guys that have. Even though you just signed him, you cut him before June 1st, save all that money. Now, here's the thing: you're looking for a significant amount of money, and who's to say that they don't do both of those things?
True.
You're looking at, if you're going to restructure Ryan Jensen, his number this year is $10 million. You could add a couple of voidable years. You turn his salary into a signing bonus. You're able to put it out over, say, 2 or 3. You add 2. You sign him to 2 extra voidable years, and you do that.
Would you give him 1 more year and then 2 voidable years, or are you looking at just give him the cash now? Say we want to get $5 million for the cap off of Jensen. So of your $10 million, we're going to give you $5 million now. You're only going to count $5 million against the cap this year. Do you give him another year, and then 2 voidable years? Or are you thinking just give him the $5 million and then add on the 2 voidable years and spread that $5 million over 2?
Well, I think what you end up doing is you end up, because he's only signed through the end of this year, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
So what you can do is you can convert that salary into a signing bonus. You add 2 voidable years straight on, and now his cap number goes from $10 million to $3.3 million this year, and you've saved yourself $6 million.
Okay, and you spread that $6 million over the next 2 voidable years.
Yes, exactly. And then you probably are telling Cam Brate that you're not making $6.25 million this year.
Come on, Cam.
Sorry, bud.
Come on, Cam. You went to Harvard.
Yeah, you know the name of this game.
Right.
And you ask Cam to take, probably you ask him to go down to. You ask him to go down to $3 million.
Cut it in half, 50%.
No,
Cam, we're putting your contract on clearance.
No. You ask him to take a cut to 3, and if he says no, you say, okay, we'll make it 4.
Okay, Cam, you got us over a barrel.
All right. We like you. We like you, Cam. Give us $2.25 million, and now all of a sudden you have your $8 million plus the $1 million that you already have of the that you have already that you're under the cap. Now you're at $9 million, and that gives you a chance to sign all your draft picks. It gives you a chance to have the crap fund in case someone goes down, like Vita Vea, getting rolled up on again. Knock on wood, that doesn't happen. But
I think it'd have to be a defensive tackle. I think they're okay with McClendon and Nacho. It'd have to be somebody like Sue or Golson. I think, for them to go out and sign another veteran or make a trade like they did for McClendon.
Yeah, but still, you have the I almost swore the crap fund.
You're allowed to swear.
I know, but I don't. I tend not to.
I tend not to too, but I do. So, I'll do it on this show.
Yeah, but
especially prior to last year.
So that would be my if I'm Jason Light, that's
Yeah.
how I'm doing it. I'm adding.
That's how you're finding the money.
That's how I'm finding the money. I'm adding 2 voidable years to Jensen, and maybe you do say, okay, we'll sign you for 1 more year with 2 voidable years on top of that, and you're able to, make it 5 million, and convert everything to signing bonus next. You convert this year to signing bonus. You give them 5 million or 8 million for next year, and then spread the 10 million that you have over 3 years. And now he's down to 2.5 million instead of 3.3 million.
Yeah.
So maybe you do something like that.
That's the way I would do it. I would want to give Jensen another year of guaranteed money, and then put the voidable years on the end. With Braid, I like your idea. Cutting in half feels a little too much to ask. So taking 2 of his 6 and just giving him 4. But so far, like, he was on a podcast, and he said, no news is good news. So he hasn't heard from his agents, and the Bucs haven't obviously cut him or asked him to do a little more. And Crusader there in the chat says, that you can rework Mike Evans again. You could rework Ali Marpet again. Any guys that have who are cornerstones that have a long contract, you could rework. Like, the
problem with Mike is that he's already $13 million in dead cap space. So
going forward,
for this year, he's already 13 million. So if you cut him, you only say he's only got 3 million of to work around this year.
I got you.
So. Yeah. So I mean, you're already on the hook for 13 million. I don't think you're going to rework Mike this year. I don't think you rework Mike next year because it's almost 50-50. Although it's 8 million in debt, or just under 9 million in dead cap money, and just over $9 million of savings. So it's almost worth it in 2022. It's definitely worth it in 2023.
Yeah.
But
so
I
Mike
don't
sort of tapped out for it to make any financial sense towards the cap, right?
Yeah, it does not make sense really to work out Mike Evans right now because it's so heavy dead cap money.
Stupid idea, Crusader.
No, it's not. It's not a stupid idea, but it's probably at least a year too premature.
Yeah.
I mean, eventually you're going
back to Jensen and Braid.
Yeah, I think it is. I think it is. It's going to be Jensen and Brate that are going to have to be amenable to making things.
Something's got to give. Something's got to happen. Now, here's my question to you: does this happen before or after the draft? I say after, because I think the more I look at the draft and the more I wait, I think that what I picked Dickerson at 1 and you pick Miners at 2, I think, that's going to there's going to be an interior for offensive lineman picked in round 1, or I should say day 1 or day 2 by the Buccaneers. I think that's almost a given, sort of a lock, if you will. So, but I don't think the Bucs would feel comfortable, and I think it's probably the best move. It's probably the smartest move, is to wait to make sure that you get an interior offensive lineman before you go ahead and restructure Jensen's contract to find the money.
Yeah, I almost wonder if you might do one and not the other before the draft. Like, you might
just needs to happen no matter what.
Well, yeah, just so you have at least some of the cash to sign your draft picks. Like, maybe you say, okay, we'll make Brate take his pay cut, because if he doesn't want to take his pay cut, you're going to cut him and you're going to save $6 million anyway.
Right.
So that's the easy part of this. It's okay. You're
saying 1 and 1.
Yeah. Maybe you have
no maybes.
All right. I'll say that you get Brate to take the pay cut before the draft.
Okay.
And then you restructure Jensen afterwards.
All right. I like it.
So
I think they're both going to happen afterwards. I think it's just because they want to do Brate a solid. I think they're going to try everything they can do to not cut Brate's salary 2 years in a row.
Poor Cam. Poor
Oh, yeah,
Cam.
yeah,
I mean,
he
he's got school loans he's going to pay off.
I think
You
he's got them covered.
Yeah. Well, Harvard doesn't give you scholarships for football, so
They don't?
no Ivy League, no athletic scholarships.
Really?
Yeah.
Then how does the University of Penn dominate the Ivy League?
In football?
And everything.
Well, it's in Philadelphia. Everybody wants to go to Philadelphia, don't they?
Yeah. the jewel of Pennsylvania.
The
Philly.
jewel of Pennsylvania. Yes.
I do want to visit Philly. I definitely want to do the Freedom Walk. I like history. I love history. I love museums and things like that. So I got to make a trip to Philly. Our next Cheryl, our next trip has got to be to DC. And every time I say that, we end up going somewhere in Europe. It's like, let's go to DC. Okay. And then it's like, and then there's a charge that says, what are these tickets to Italy? It's like, oh yeah, we're going to Italy. Well, okay.
Monaco.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
As someone that's been to Monaco, I definitely recommend it. So it's an enjoyable time, especially in the summer, when it's not quite so warm. So I just think that, with that, yeah, I mean, there's your answer. And Crusader, you can take your dunce cap off, because we're not calling you stupid. I'm calling you early. You're thinking 2 moves ahead, which is good.
Sure.
Yeah. You're thinking multiple moves ahead.
So the big question is, does this affect the draft strategy? Signing Cockrell, signing McClendon, and signing Bernard. Does this change the draft strategy, or at least in your mind? Does this change the way the Bucs you thought could or should go? Do any of these signings sort of like put anything on the back burner? Like with McClendon, does having to take a defensive tackle day 1 or day 2, does that put that on the back burner? Or
I have an off-ball linebacker going in day 2, so their first pick. So maybe it's not the right question to ask me. I look at if they are going to stay at 32, and Christian Barmore is still on the board at 32, which is extremely likely. I think they're going to take him. I think that they're looking at,
I don't think Barmore's going to be there.
I don't. Well, it's likely though. I'm not saying he will.
I don't. I think
you
he's
don't
going.
think
I think he's going top 20.
Really? Wow.
I do.
If he goes top 20, I think we can almost guarantee that the Bucs are going to trade out.
But what if ATN or Harris is there, or Williams out of North Carolina?
Yeah.
I mean, because even though they just signed Gio Bernard, like the only guy who's on the 2022 roster right now is Keyshawn Vaughn, because Fournette, Jones, and Bernard are all in their last deal or 1-year deals, or however you want to say it. Like none of them are under contract for 2022.
Yeah, that's right. Because Jones was not a 1st-round pick, so he does not have the 5th-year option. That could be interesting.
So, like, do you think does that change the running back spot for you if one of those 3 are there? What's your favorite running back?
My favorite running back is the one that they're going to get in the 5th round. I mean, I'm one of those guys that it's almost a hard and fast rule that you never pick a running back in the 1st round,
even if it's the first pick of the 2nd round. How about if I word it that way? It's the first pick of the 2nd round. It's not the last pick of the 1st.
So you're talking about them going and.
I'm just saying at 32, it's really hard. I get the argument, like, don't take a running back in the 1st round, especially if you're top 10, probably top 15, top 20. I'll make an argument for, but you're at 32.
Yeah, I mean, I just look at Doug Martin, and I get Doug Martin flashbacks.
Doug Martin was a good back, man.
I mean, I like Doug, but it's just kind of. I mean, yeah.
So it doesn't matter with you. You weren't going to take a running back anyway.
I was not. I'm not.
Does it take to? And you already went on record saying it wouldn't take Barmore off the board for you, even though I don't think he's going to be there. But that's irrelevant. But if he is, you thinking the McClendon draft, because he's kind of more of a nose guard anyway. But the McClendon pick doesn't take Barmore off the board for you
That's
at all.
true. Yeah.
Does the Cockrell signing take a cornerback off the board for you at 32?
Maybe.
I'm with you.
I mean, at that point, I mean, Cockrell's a special teams guy for me. You know,
he's
So-
emergency, break glass.
So, I'm not thoroughly, convinced that, if there's
Back
a
in the corner Crusader. Jesus.
Yeah, Crusaders. Now, what if they take a quarterback?
Yeah.
I
Turn
mean,
around.
yeah,
Put the hat back on.
That's right. Go back and count to 1,000. But I look at I'm okay if there's a if there's one of the corners that have really for some I mean, if corners fallen that far, like if we're talking about a defensive back falling from the upper 20s or even the mid 20s to 32, and for there has to be a reason why.
Well, I'm not saying a corner's falling. I'm just saying like if Newsome from Northwestern's there.
Yeah.
Or
if Newsome's there, I would take him.
Yeah, or the injured guy with the back.
Cockrell's signing does not rule any of that out.
I'm with you. I don't think any of these signings whatsoever change their draft strategy at all. Jason Licht has always said that you want to go into the draft like with a team that can start the season. Like, drafts are just extra. You don't want to, have to draft for need. Now, it hasn't always worked out 100% that way. No,
because they needed Jameis Winston at that
when they needed Tristan Wirfs, and they didn't really need Antonio Winfield, but it was a nice upgrade. Yeah. But so when need and player grade match up somewhere, that's the player you normally take, and you go, well, he was the best player available with need. But with this draft, like what you really need are younger edge and younger interior defensive lineman. That's what you need. Maybe an interior offensive lineman, because Kappa is also a free agent next year. Yeah. And we talked about Jensen as of right now, he's a free agent next year. And we always talk about, well, you can't keep both of them. Well, after this year, well, Jesus, you might. But, you always got to prepare for the worst case scenario in the future. So that's why I understand interior offensive linemen. So I don't think any of these signings changed the draft for the Buccaneers at all. Even for running back, if one of those three that I think they like or everyone likes are there, I think that's a possibility. I still think corner's a possibility. I don't think defensive tackle's a possibility, but I don't think that's because of McClendon. I think that because the only guy worth taking at 32 is going to be gone somewhere in the top 20. Yeah. Now, if Barmore's there at 32, me and you will be having that debate at midnight on Thursday.
Probably after 5 or 6 big storm beers.
Yeah. So we'll see how that goes. But so that's where I am on these signings. I think they're all really help out the team. Like, I like all the players. I think they're worth more than all of them are getting paid. And I think they're all going to play, except for maybe Cockrell. I mean, as a down-to-down player. But Bernard's going to play almost every game. McClendon's going to play almost every game. Yeah. Excluding special teams, Cockrell will not. But I think they're all great.
I like them all. Let's get to Crusaders' question about the quarterback. Yes, is there a quarterback outside the top 3 that we like? I think anybody outside of the top 3 has question marks. Trevor Lawrence, no question marks. Zach Wilson, no question marks. Justin Fields, no question marks. Everybody else outside of those, the top 3 is going to have question marks. Trask is got question marks. Trey Lance, what is he only played like 12 games or something like that? He's played 12 or what is it, 13 collegiate games in his career. he compares to Mitchell Trubisky. And we know how well that worked out for the Chicago Bears. Mac Jones, Alabama quarterback.
Name
I
one.
think
It's not Joe Montana, or excuse me, Joe Namath.
Joe Namath. I mean, Tua, but Tua's
Crusader. I need that dunce cap.
Tua, but Tua's
We'll
the jury's out on Tua.
Yeah.
Rick's likes Kellen Mond. But if you look, the letter grades, Charlie Campbell, Walter Football, has the how he's graded the quarterback class. The early guys are A's, of course. But everything after that is average at best.
So do you like any of them? I have a guy I like. I think we've talked about him on the show. Yeah, when we did sort of other guys besides, when we did that show where we talked about other players that we liked, where I picked I couldn't read Derek Barnes' name, the linebacker out of Purdue.
That was funny.
And then the next day, John Leather's like, "Look at this guy." I'm like,
son of a.
Yeah. We look for fast, speedy guys on defense and things like that. So I talked about Davis Mills, and the more I hear people talk about him, he's the guy after the big four. I'll say the big four because I'm going to throw. I always want to call him Trevor Lawrence, but not the guy from North Dakota State.
Oh, Trey Lance. Trey
Lance, thank you. After he's considered in the top four. I would take Davis above Mac Jones. Maybe I'd have to really do a deep dive. I definitely would take him over Kyle Trask for sure. The things that Davis Mills doesn't have is the kid from North Dakota, Trey Lance. I got it. He's only played 6 games because of COVID this year. But he was a number 1 recruit out of high school. Well, a handful of years ago. And he's got all the tools, like the size, and he's really good across the middle of the field. So sort of like the intermediate passing game he's good at, and he has to get a little more touch on his deep ball. But he's only had 6 college games. And I think people say go watch the UCLA game where you see him at his best and worst. He throws 4 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. And it's like there he is. So as a guy, if Davis is there in round 2, I wouldn't mind picking him up. I'm sure there's gonna be other players I would rather when push comes to shove, if Miners is on there, I'd be like, no, take Miners. But round 3, if Davis is still there, I would want the Bucs to take Davis Mills in round 3. I just would because we know the story why. You got to get a guy in the hopper, developmental. Just take Ryan Griffith's spot. Who's not signed, but take the 3rd quarterback spot, and they're probably going to bring back Blaine Gabbert, who, by the way, can win 10 games in this offense with his eyes closed. So quit.
Hey, if Matt Castle can, Castle can win 10 games in the National Football League, filling in for Tom Brady, Blaine Gabbert can. The thing with Kellen Mond is, I think that the gap between what he could be and what he might be is very, very wide. Could he be Patrick Mahomes?
No.
But he's more likely to be Johnny Manziel.
Right. Yeah.
So, I mean,
a lot of things got to go perfect for Kellen Mond to be a starter.
Well, I mean, but he's a guy with a big arm, that throws a lot. I mean, so you could be,
he can run, he
one
can
or
be
the
a dual
other.
threat, but I just
yeah. I mean, Jamie Newman intrigues me late,
right?
Because going to Georgia, he had the big Wake Forest, the career at Wake Forest, going to Georgia and then opting out.
Yeah,
he's a guy that intrigues me late,
right?
Very late.
Another
maybe undrafted late.
Yeah, he's another one of those dual threat guys, and it seems the NFL seems to be leaning that way more and more and more. But yeah, so my guy is Davis Mills. That's the guy I would go for. If you had to pick one, who would it be? Doesn't matter which round. Like it's opening day of training camp. The Bucs' 3rd or 4th quarterback is, and I'm glad he's there.
Jamie Newman.
Wow. All right.
So
I'm gonna
Well,
put that and write that down for.
yeah, there we go.
Couple-
That's gonna be on the crawl in a couple
for,
of months.
no, it's like 3
Carney's
years
an
now.
idiot.
Anytime you like question anything I say, I go, remember like 2 years ago when you said Jamie Newman was the guy?
could be worse. You should ask Matt Perot of Yahoo Sports about my comment about about Josh Freeman. That was me opening my mouth and inserting my foot. I'm not mentioning it here.
Okay, I was to say, can I just ask you now? No, I gotta go hunt this guy.
No,
down.
you gotta go hunt Perot down, because he'll tell you what an idiot I was. And I love Matt, so and he's absolutely right. I was a complete moron that day. But these are all decisions that Jason Light's going to have to make, and Jason Licht has received some more accolades, if you will. That's a Spice Adams reference.
No one knows who Spice Adams is.
You don't know who Spice Adams is?
I don't, and neither does the rest of America. Who's Spice Adams? Okay.
Spice Adams used to play defensive tackle for the Chicago Bears. He's a big Instagram. He's big on Instagram.
Oh, there you go.
Huge on Instagram.
Okay, I'm not a grammar.
Oh yeah, and he's John Gilmore's former roommate at Penn State.
Who's John Gilmore?
He does the Bucs radio studio shows with Ronnie Lane.
Okay. Yes. Okay, I do know that. Okay.
Former Bucs tight end.
Yes.
So, but Jason Light's got some new accolades, and we'll talk about that here next on the Pewtercast. So, Ren, we've got the new GM power rankings out from our buddy Greg Rosenthal,
our good friend
from the NFL, NFL.com, the NFL Network, and kind of interesting that where Jason Licht falls, because I think if this was, say, 2 or 3 years ago, there is no way that Jason Licht is where he is.
No.
Right now, Jason Licht on Greg Rosenthal's list of general manager power rankings is third in the NFL.
Right.
He's number 3 behind Chris Ballard of the Indianapolis Colts and Kevin Colbert of the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Before we get into this, do you have the list in front of you?
I do.
Who's last?
I
forgot to scroll down.
30, as I scroll down here, is
New York Jets.
Let me see here. Well, he's only graded 23 because there are a whole bunch of new ones, like Trent Baalke is not in there, Nick Caserio, Joe Douglas. But so he is graded all the way down to 23.
Okay, so
and at 23 is Mike Mayock and John Gruden.
Yeah, well, there you go. That's true. Yeah, well, it's hard to argue with.
So Dave
probably
Gettleman
going to draft Christian Barmore, by the way.
Yeah, all in the from 20 down. Ryan Pace, Howie Roseman, Dave Gettleman, and then Mike Mayock / John Gruden. And they say he puts Gruden in there because even though Mayock is the general manager, let's face it, John Gruden's picking players, not Mayock.
Yeah.
So, what's funny about it is that Light they put best and worst picks for all these guys.
Right.
And for Jason Licht, his best pick, not surprisingly,
was surprising to me.
Really?
I thought I say who it was, and I'll give you who I thought it was going to be.
Well, because the worst pick is what surprised me.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Tristan Wirfs is the best pick.
Arguable.
I mean, who I
Mike Evans.
Was that Light or was that Mark Dominic?
That was Light's first year, I think. I'm pretty sure, wasn't it? Yeah.
14. Yeah, I think it may have been. I'm trying to remember off the top of my head because Mark Dominic left with Schiano, and that was 13. Yes. Yeah, because that was Mike Evans was Light's first pick.
There you go. So Mike Evans,
and Tristan Wirfs.
I just think Mike gets the nod because of the bigger sample size.
Perhaps worst pick.
What about Devin White?
Devin White's really good too.
Yeah, he's really good. What about Villa? Someone G Vegas says in chat, and he says White. Yeah, like I mean, so that's like I said, arguable. But I'm not going to sit here and bag on Tristan Wirfs.
Worst pick though. Vernon Hargreaves.
I was shocked. I was shocked. It was Aguayo.
You took Roberto Aguayo in the second round.
Yes.
You took a kicker in the second round, and he sucked.
Yeah, that's the part. Like taking a kicker in the second round, like you can sort of forgive if you have like a Sebastian Janikowski 20-year career and 18 of them with him or with your team. Like, yes, I took a kicker in the second round, and he's now our leading scorer, and I haven't had to address the position in 2 decades.
Yeah. You didn't draft Morton Anderson. You drafted the Morton Salt girl, for crying out loud.
Oh, nice. Wow. It's about as harsh as Carney gets.
Yeah, it really is. But yeah, to have Vernon Hargreaves as your worst pick, that was kind of shocking.
Yeah. I think it was Aguayo, but kudos to Jason Licht, and we're about to get into some. I'm going to bring up a criticism of Jason Licht, and we're about to get into it. But I would like to start off by saying, like, I think that his third place here in the GM Power rankings is well deserved. We have always been a big supporter, or I should say, I have always been a big supporter of Jason Licht on the Petercast. I've
met Jason. I like him a lot.
I'm talking about job wise. I don't, I haven't met him personally. I had a conversation with him, but I even defended the Aguayo pick at the time, just like, and basically what I said is just what I said then about, okay, well, you don't have to look at the position next 15 years and he's going to retire. Aguayo's going to retire with the most points in Buccaneers history. Like, yeah, 2's high, but look what you got for it. But it didn't work out. So, but I even defended Jason Licht because I understood the thinking. He was the best college kicker ever of all time, accuracy wise. So I got it. And so I'm all for Jason Licht. I am very pro Jason Licht. But what we're about to talk about is something that I think needs to be discussed. And it's not banging on Jason Licht and saying that, he needs to get out and this is terrible. But when he talks about the draft, he's always talking about the future and talks about how they scout players like 2 years before they think when they're going to come out. So they're starting, they're scouting guys their freshman year, their sophomore year, and like the Bucs might not have them projected to come out till a senior. So they're always looking at the future and putting in this work, and they're looking 2-3 drafts ahead. But what we have to discuss here is this draft, where it's lined up the worst for the Bucs' biggest need, which is getting younger on the edge and getting younger at the defensive tackle position. Not necessarily the nose guard, but the 2 tackles and the edge. And this draft is just terrible for it.
Yeah.
So should Bucs fans be frustrated or upset at Jason Licht and his scouts and his, I'm going to call it the future department from now on. So the Bucs fans be upset at the future department. And again, I think Jason Licht's doing a great job. But if you look at this one specific part of what Jason's Licht done, if you just focus on this one thing, can you describe it as anything more than a failure?
I don't know if you can call it a failure per se, but we'll explain why here next. I think Ren's got to be. Yeah, G Vegas. I don't know if they graded on the past 4 drafts, because for Jason Licht they had his worst pick at 2016, so that's 5 drafts already. So, and still Vernon Hargreaves over Roberto Aguayo. Never happened. So. I talked a little bit during this break, so you may have to cut it out.
I wasn't gonna. I was gonna let you blab away. Where are we at?
Oh, I was saying that G Vegas that he thinks that it was graded on the past 4 drafts, but Hargraves was drafted in 16, so that's already 5.
Yeah, man, it doesn't matter. So anyway, let's just you just pick up when so can it be described as anything but a failure?
I don't think it's a failure per se, but you look at it as, you try and look at all right. How do I want to word this? Because
Harshly.
Well, it's like it could be like an act of God. All of a sudden you're looking at these guys, and all of a sudden it's like, holy crap, this guy's hurt. This guy doesn't look as good.
That's a huge part of it. Like, do we factor in COVID and players opting out, and maybe guys that didn't sort of develop as they thought they would going up the road? Does that go into the conversation?
Yeah, I think it has to. I think you're going to make that. You're going to have that be part of the conversation, and that's why I think that even though we may see, in whether it's defensive tackle or edge rusher, being kind of thin.
Mm-hmm. Kind of thin.
Well, I mean, I was being nice.
I know you were being Carney and I'm being Ren. Kind of thin. That's yeah.
Kind of thin, kind of like kind of pregnant.
Yeah. Yeah, turkey at a Jewish deli is kind of thin. Then, if you're calling this defensive tackle class kind of thin, then yeah, that's kind of thin.
But it's thin as to recognition from guys like you and guys that understand what the draft looks like. In a war room, though, they might be going, we should be taking a look at. Remember this guy? Remember he opted out this year.
Mm-hmm,
he didn't play this year. That's a guy that may end up becoming value for teams, because
2 years down the road, and we have that luxury.
So that's right. The beauty. That's the beauty of things right now. We're able to go into battle on the gridiron with what we have right now. So
it's true. But okay, so yes, all that is true, and I agree. And again, I'm going to start again prefacing saying, look, I'm not calling for Jason Licht's job, and I think he's done more than a fantastic job. You look at this roster, like I don't think like any day 3 guys even make the roster this year. Like,
you're probably
it's
right.
That point, and none of the draft picks are going to start. Like none of them. So it's really hard to, be like, GM's doing a terrible job. But again, on this one instance, if you take in, to consideration COVID, players opting out, shortened season, all the things that you can pile in sort of like the but column for Jason Licht. Mm-hmm. Okay. Add those in. But he did construct this roster this way. He knew where the weaknesses were going to be down the line. We are here now down the line. We are here now down the line on this draft for this edge class and defensive tackle class. Again, include all the buts with him. How from 1 to 10, how perplexed, frustrated, angry, mad, head scratching are you at Jason Licht and his future staff about not setting this team up for not having these needs in this draft? Like they could have went out and they could have signed another edge rusher.
Yeah.
They could have signed another defensive tackle.
They could have.
Yeah. So from 1 to 10, where on this specific issue, 1 being absolute failure and 10 being, oh my God, your God's given talent to GMs. Where do you fall? Where do you put what number do you give Jason Licht and his future staff?
I'd say 7.
7?
Yeah, it's not a big deal to me.
That's no blame at all.
I'm not blaming. It's
not a big deal to you. Okay, next year, no Sue, no JPP, no Golston.
Hopefully a stronger draft class.
But now we're picking 32 again.
Are we?
Of course we are. We're going. We're going right in the middle of our 29-0 run.
Are we not dropping out of 32 and maybe getting a first round pick next year?
That's true.
And then you're able to package 2 first-round picks and move up if need be.
For a defensive front edge? Wow.
For whatever you need, if you feel that strongly about a guy.
Yeah, I get that. But a 7? I mean, 7's like a B. Like a B, like a solid B. Yeah. So you think Jason Licht setting this in this specific situation for needing youth and talent along the defensive line, you think Jason Licht done a 7 setting up this team for this draft?
I think he's got a 7. He does a 7 because there isn't that much of a need because of what they've been able to do free agency wise.
Who's the third edge rusher on this team?
Me.
Exactly.
You want to edge rush? How's your swim move there, Ren?
It's pretty good. It's pretty good. But my cardio is bad. Like I'm like, you know, like I got
your cardio is bad. You've seen me in person.
How
do you think my cardio is?
I smoke.
I'm almost 300 pounds. I could
really?
Yeah, I'm probably pretty close.
No, then you're playing DT then. I have to play edge.
There we go.
There we go. We got it. Third DT and third edge right here. Live.
7. Solved it. 7.
Solved it. And I'll play for that because what's the Bucs? They've got $1,080,000.
Yep.
I'll take the 80,000.
80.
Like that's not even a minimum. Like just give me free lunch. Buy me a new car. How about that? Buy Carney's wife a new car. Buy me a new car.
There we go.
And it can be used.
That's right.
As long as it's certified.
Take our knees out all you want. Hey, I want to ask you, because we're gonna get going on the
4 tops. 3 is what my grade is.
Really?
Yeah, it's really a terrible job. It is. Look, it's a terrible for finding talent in this draft for your biggest need. It's a 3 or a 4.
And you're an angry old man. That's all
I'm practical, and you watch freaking Rainbow Bright and Care Bears.
Pollyanna. That's what they call me. I'm
Wait,
Pollyanna.
I don't remember anything about Pollyanna. All I remember is like she climbed the tree and fell and like paralyzed herself. Why are you called a Pollyanna? Like, what's that reference?
That everything is sunshine and rainbows. Everything is always positive.
Is that what that movie was about?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. So because she's always very
it's an old Disney live action movie, by the way. If anybody doesn't know who Pollyanna is, starring I think Haley Mills, and I think she's like in her 60s, maybe her 70s by now. And she's in it when she's like she's a teenager.
Yeah,
so.
I think she was like 13 or 14 at that point. So
and she's been dead for 2 decades.
So we've talked a lot about Jason Licht, but now with the players, drafts in less than 2 weeks, and then you're going to start getting into what is the offseason program, as I use my air quotes here.
Yes.
Bucs players are not going to participate in face-to-face voluntary workouts at the facility, and they're not alone there. So I'm curious, in your opinion, are voluntary off-season workouts really that important anymore?
Really that important anymore? No. I would still like to have them. Now, let's sort of take this back to the beginning. Like, off-season workouts were sort of done to bring guys in and sort of check up on them. Like, how much weight have you gained, Fatty Boomba-Laddie? Since the season, But now with these type of athletes, and there's so much money involved, and they understand that they need to stay in shape year-round. And then, now this new, I'll call it the TB12 movement. But, guys that are understanding that if you take care of your bodies, in all sports, if you take care of your bodies better and watch what you eat and get your sleep and all that type of stuff and hydrate, like you can extend your career by, like 5 years, like Brady's the outlier. So, and then that's, 5 years can be like 20 million to 50 million more dollars if you're a tier 1 player. So I think that these players take it more seriously. So you don't really need this, hey, come on and check up. Like, okay, like, season's been over for like 3 months now. You need to, here's the training program. Like, quit eating, KFC bucket of fried chicken twice a day. It's football's
So
coming
delicious.
soon. So that's kind of where it started, where they could kind of gauge where these players were. So I don't think they're necessary. I would still like to see them come into the facility, especially if they're players coming off an injury, coming off a surgery, new players that are like a Bernard, who hasn't been in the system at all, things like that, and sort of touch base and then get a face-to-face and be able to hand them, sort of, here's what we want you to do in the off season as far as workouts. And, if you have any questions there, I understand all that can be done, through a Zoom call or, through StreamYard or whatever you want to do. I think it's important sort of to touch base after 3 months. Now, are they absolutely now going out on the field for those 3 days in, helmets and shorts and toss the ball around the yard? No, absolutely not.
Yeah.
But for the nutritionist, the weight trainer, the rehab people, I think, I would really like to see it continue. But if it doesn't continue, I'm not going to lose any sleep over it.
Yeah, for me, voluntary off-season workouts benefit two people, or two groups, I should say: the injured and the brand new. Rookies trying to acclimate themselves to the lifestyle of the NFL and the playbook and everything that goes along with being a professional football player. You need those. You need those sessions. If you're injured, you want to be in there. You want to be able to rehab. You want to be able to have teams check up on you and make sure that you are on pace for a return whenever you're supposed to return. Right. Everybody else, it doesn't matter because everybody else is already still fit and they're all working out in the off season anyway, and they're all doing work. You're all doing individual work anyway during the off season. I think that once you get into the mandatory mini camps and the OT, those activities are going to be where you're going to be able to start building the chemistry, if you will, for that upcoming season. This voluntary stuff, 3 days in shorts and a helmet,
and then not coming back for another like month and a half. Yeah, it's like
stupid.
I don't know, stupid.
No, it's
I like it because I like it as a fan because I get at least a little like, hey, look, there's a picture of Mike Evans. Hey, look, there's a pic. Look, here's a little video of Tom Brady throwing to Mike Evans. Oh, that's so great to see.
He looks good.
Yeah, wow.
They look good.
Undefeated, baby. Look at that throw.
Unbelievable.
So as a fan, I definitely want that. But so these new rules that sort of the NFL and NFL PA has sort of agreed upon, like the only difference really is from not last year, but a regular year. So we'll just say 2018 is that these OTAs that we were talking about, these voluntary mini camps that happened right before the draft are now virtual, but everything else after that, sort of like after the draft, when they have mini camp and all those other things. And like, day one, it's always been like day one, you can only talk to the trainers. Day two, you can go out on the field, but you're only out with the physical therapy guys. And then day three, you're out there in helmets and shorts and you can run around the yard for a little bit. That's all the same though, right?
As far as I know.
Yeah, the way I read it, that's all the same. So the only thing that's really different this year than from any other year prior to last year, any other year, is just that instead of coming in for those 3 days and me getting to see Tom Brady throw a spiral to Scotty Miller 60 yards down the field, is that just doesn't happen, and they're not coming to show up to the facility, right?
Yes, that's how I read it. So
yeah, that's the way I read it too. So I'll survive.
Of course, we'll survive. We'll survive, and we'll enjoy it. But I just think
I will not enjoy it. I will survive.
You will survive. Thanks, Gloria. There's another reference. There's Gloria Gaynor. I will survive reference there. Last thing,
the singer of the song.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, last thing from me.
Yeah. Sure.
This today, April the 16th, is the last day that Aaron Rodgers will be the guest host on Jeopardy.
Right.
I'm a big Jeopardy fan.
Now.
I think Rodgers has done a really good job as the guest host.
Oh yeah, has he?
And yeah, I think out of everybody that's done it so far, I think he's in the top two. I think Mike Richards, who is the executive producer of Jeopardy, was the best, and Aaron is probably second, and then Ken Jennings and Katie Couric, and then Dr. Oz is like way down here.
They had Dr. Oz do it?
They had Dr. Oz on, and he was awful.
Yeah, he's awful on his own show when he's talking about something he knows about.
Exactly. So
Okay.
so my question to you is, which Bucs player would you think would make a good game show host?
Okay, here's my question. And I haven't thought about this at all. So I just thought about this while you're saying this. Are we talking Jeopardy or are we talking like a regular game show? Are we
No, we're talking any type of game show.
Okay, because Jeopardy is really not a game show.
Yeah.
You know,
it's a quiz show.
It's a quiz show. Like Wheel of Fortune is a game show. Like Joker's Wild's a game show.
Yes. Okay. Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
So let's say it's Wheel of Fortune.
Because with Jeopardy, it's not really about personality. It's a little bit about personality, but it's more about being very, stately and stoic and, almost like stiff upper lip. Yes. Yes.
So all right. So yeah, just regular, like Price is Right or something like,
Card Sharks.
Gotcha.
Let's see. I still do love game shows
because there are two guys that I have in mind.
Go ahead.
Fantastic. Okay. I mean, for me, if you're gonna have a show like Wipeout, which I enjoy immensely as well,
it's a game show.
It's kind of a game show. I mean,
really?
It's a competition show. Yeah,
it's a competition show. I mean, so's the NFL. So's college basketball. Then
they're competing. No, but like I could see Gronk hosting like Wipeout, some of those
way over the top. Gronk would be great at.
And the other guy for me is Ali Marpet.
Oh yeah,
Ali is so interesting, and I think that he would be really funny. Like I think he would be a good game show host. Doing Card Sharks or Joker's Wild or The Price is Right.
Yeah.
I mean, how funny would it be to, have a new car, winning a new car from Ali Marpet.
I think Ali's a good one. I thought about Donovan Smith for a second, but he gets snarky real easy. So I don't think it'd be something he'd be really interested in.
He might be a good Jeopardy host then.
Yeah. Actually, I think the best Jeopardy host on the Buccaneers would be Sue, and I don't think it's close.
Oh yeah.
I love me some Dominican Sue. When you're you've got to be likable, and sort of being a recency bias here, like G.R. Bernard, he was very I liked him a lot. So, I think Sue would be great.
Yep.
Vea's too quiet. Not Shaq, not JPP. Golson, no. Levante Davis too quiet. I think Sean Murphy Bunting would do a good job if he lost those stupid baby dreads, baby twists he has. You gotta get a normal haircut. You can't be looking at like Coolio's baby. I just don't like that. I don't dig that hairstyle at all. I just it doesn't look good on anybody. No one. It looks like you just got out of the shower. Or like you just worked in the yard for all day long. It's like what's that old war poster with the lady with the muscle?
Oh yeah, Rosie the Riveter.
Rosie the Riveter. Yeah, you look like the male version of Rosie the Riveter. Wow. I'm here. My hair is. I'm getting it out of my way. I don't care about it. I'm just doing this because I need this out of my face at all times. It's not a style. It's more of I don't know. So anyway,
G Vegas says Devin White has a great smile to be a game show host. I could see Devin White hosting something like American Gladiators.
Yeah, he needs a few more years under his belt, maturity wise. But I can see Devin White definitely has a personality to be a good game show host. And that's why I picked Sean Murphy Bunting as his personality. I don't know enough about Antoine Winfield or Whitehead or Edwards really to sort of do that.
Mhm.
Along the offensive line, Kappa, no. I mean, no offense, but like
Ryan Jensen would beat up contestants.
I think Ryan Jensen would be good like on a cooking show because he enjoys it so much and he'd be very engaged, you know. I don't know if you really call that a game show. No, I like when I see Alex Kappa, and you know, no offense, and I'm sure it's wrong. Like I'm always surprised he has the right shoe on the right foot. Like, I mean, you know, he's a lot. He's become a much better player than I kind of hoped he would be. He just got, you know, the most bonus money for incentives for like basically playing above your contract of everybody in the entire NFL. He got the most money. So obviously he's doing great, and I'm glad he's a Buccaneer. I think Tristan Wirth, also another great smile, could possibly do it. I think he's got the right demeanor for it.
Yep.
Mike Evans, no. Chris Godwin, he's a little too stick up the butt for a game show host. I don't really know.
Miller.
Yeah.
No.
Of course, we got to go Brady. I mean, but he wouldn't want.
No, I don't see.
He just doesn't. He would not care enough to even try to do a good job.
Unless it was sponsored by TB12, he wouldn't.
There you go. Yeah, the TB12 game show featuring Tom Brady. But then he'd do it for like, he'd like show up and wave, and then, you know, he'd hire Sean Murphy Bunting to be the actual host, where he could just come out and wave and collect all the money. So yeah, he would not do it at all. So I mean, you know, Winfield Jr., you know, here's what G Vegas says. Yeah.
Like that, he can be a host of Let's Make a Deal. You want door number 3, door number 1, or door number
Deuces? Yeah, he just needs to be on a show called Deuces Wild. Just make a show called Deuces, and he's naturally the host. So yeah, I think my best pick would be Sue, and I'm a you know, if you've listened to the show long enough, I'm unabashedly a Sue lover for a host like Jeopardy. And then as far as like sort of the other ones, I think I'm sticking with Sean Murphy Bunting.
Yeah. Oh, the other person would be Cam Brate, only because he's smart and he's going to need that $2 million.
He's smart. But every time I hear Cam talk, again, he's one of those people that I'm shocked, like the shoe's on the right foot. he's just so goofy to me. And not that like you goofy, I don't like you, you're done. Like he's just a goofball. Like he doesn't come off as someone who went to Harvard, which again,
he's another wipeout guy.
I don't think he has enough personality to do wipeout. I don't think it's big enough. Like what's the mini golf one that they do? No, I don't
mini golf. Really. There's one on ABC about mini golf that always makes me laugh.
Like Cam Brate needs to be someone's sidekick that gets picked on all the time. Where you can just sit there and go, oh, yeah, you're right. You know what I mean? Maybe the guy that introduces the people that come down the aisle, you know, come on down. Like he.
Oh my God, that would be funny. Yes, that would be great.
If you got as much, I'd put for Cam Brate.
If you have an idea of who you want to see as a Bucs player be a game show host, you can always tweet at the Pewtercast. You can always tweet us as well, as we got to get on out of here. Ren, it's time for the Ren Addiction.
Yep.
Where can people find you to talk Buccaneers?
Best place to find me is at Big Storm Brew on draft night.
Yes.
Yes, I'll be there with Carney. Remember, we're doing the beer and poster giveaway for you, and there'll be some T-shirts there that some young man has designed and is trying to raise money to go to grad school, USF. So we're going to put those on our table. We'll be doing some other things. Joe Bucs fan is doing lots of giveaways. They've told me that they're working on some Bucs players. They had some, but because of the COVID, the team kind of squashed it. The organization kind of squashed it a little bit. So they're working a different angle. So they're going to have their, you know, Ira's of course going to be there, and Steve is going to be there, and new Bucs fans will be there.
That's right. We can have Ira, and maybe interview an Ira.
maybe we'll have the dueling Iras, and I'll play piano in the background. Best place besides that, any other place to find me, best place is on Twitter at Rendax, REN_DAXT. I'm always down to talk Buccaneers football, but if you think your tweet's too hot, you don't want to put it out there in the Twitter sphere, feel free to slide in my DMs, and I'll talk Buccaneers football there with you as well too.
Yeah, I mean, you can follow me on Twitter at Steve Carney. You can always check out, I've got plenty of Rays stuff as well at stpete9.com. Been a rough week.
How are the Rays doing?
Awful. They dropped 3 out of 4 to maybe the worst team in the American League West in the Texas Rangers. They are in last place in the American League East right now, getting ready to start a series with the Yankees. And the city of St. Petersburg looks like they are coming around to the idea that the Rays may be playing half their season in Montreal in a couple of years. So I'm not very happy about that. So but go to St. P9 anyway.
What's their biggest need? First baseman?
First baseman. They need
anybody that can hit the ball.
Yeah,
a closer.
Don't get me started on that.
Middle relievers.
Yeah, they're going to be
some guys that can play the outfield.
Yeah, maybe they need a first baseman. They need guys that don't swing and miss at everything right now. So, but yeah, you can catch that at stpete9.com and the Under the Orange Roof podcast also there with myself and actress Ellen Adair this week from the Showtime shows Homeland and Billions. She was on Bull this week on CBS. As assistant DA Glover.
Why is she on your Rays podcast?
She has a podcast. She and her husband do a podcast about baseball movies.
Oh, okay.
So, which
good get.
So we got a chance to talk about what makes a good baseball movie, and whether or not she's ever going to watch the Disney movie The Rookie about Jim Morris.
She hasn't seen that yet.
She has not done She has not done a podcast about it yet. She
hasn't seen it. No, okay, that's fair.
So she has seen it. She has not done the podcast though.
What did you guys agree on was the best? What's the top thing that makes a good baseball movie?
You want believable baseball action. It doesn't have to be all baseball action, but you need it to be somewhat believable.
Right.
So we
the
look
difference
at
of Charlie Sheen pitching and Tim Robbins pitching.
Exactly. And so we talked about how we liked 42, the Jackie Robinson movie. Bull Durham is always up there. Field of Dreams is not a believable, premise, but it's still dead people coming out of a cornfield. Cornfield. Come on.
That's not believable.
No, not believable at all. Sorry. But yeah, and then there are a couple of others that from back in the day, and we talked about some of the really good baseball movies like Sugar. Sugar is a baseball movie that a lot of people don't know about. It's about the Negro Leagues, and the baseball in it is rather believable. So that looks like it's not like just about baseball, but the baseball in it's really good. So lots of good baseball talk on Under the Orange Roof, myself and actress Ellen Adair, which is available now wherever you get your favorite podcasts, like the Petercast, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify. You're sleeping.
What?
Sleeping.
Sorry. I thought I was at a Rays game. My bad.
Yeah. Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, Google Play. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, ratings, reviews, we like them. Give them to us.
Yes.
So we will talk to you next week as we get one week closer to the NFL draft. And until next time, go buck yourself.
I forgot again.
Forgot again.
I did. So I still have to find it. Where is that?